Welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're here with us today. We're diving into a topic that is literally everywhere right now, but we're going to do it a bit differently. We're cutting straight through the hype to look at the cold, hard mechanics. Today, we're tearing down the illusion of machine intelligence. We're going to demystify generative AI, pull back the curtain on the whole magic trick, and see exactly how this tech works under the hood. We'll see how it goes from feeling like this conscious entity to what it actually is, a super practical, incredibly versatile toolbox for your everyday life. Let's get into it.
So, does AI actually know things? I mean, it sure feels like it, right? You type in a prompt and boom, you get this thoughtful, highly specific answer back in seconds. It totally feels like there's a real person sitting on the other side of the screen who just gets you. It feels like genuine comprehension. But that feeling? That's exactly the myth we're busting today. We really need to unpack this massive disconnect between what the tech appears to be doing on the surface and the reality of what's actually firing off in the code.
Okay, let's dive into this first part, how AI actually works, the reality under the hood. We're shifting our focus right from the illusion straight into the actual computational architecture. Now, if we look at the actual definition, generative AI is a technology that produces text or images by analyzing vast data sets to identify patterns and predict likely outputs. Notice what words are completely missing from that sentence: thinking, understanding, knowing. None of that is in there. Generative AI tools don't have anything even close to a human mind. What they do have are statistical algorithms. They're basically just crunching through absolute oceans of text and images, and they've gotten crazy good at spotting the mathematical structures hiding inside all that data. So they're just guessing what the next most likely word or pixel should be, purely based on what they've seen before. It's brilliant, incredibly fast prediction for sure, but it is definitely not genuine realization.
Let's break down this magic trick step by step. It all kicks off with step 1, data training. This is where the system gets fed all that raw information we were just talking about, absorbing all the structures and rules. Then, that massive amount of data flows into step 2, the AI brain. Now, brain is a really loose metaphor here. As our sources explicitly remind us, this is not a biological organ. It's a processing mechanism that calculates probabilities. It doesn't memorize facts like you or I do. Instead, it takes your prompt, runs it through those statistical frameworks it learned back in training, and literally calculates the mathematically best answer. Which brings us to step 3, the response. That highly articulate, human-sounding output you're reading, it's just the final result of that incredibly fast calculation.
So we really have to draw a hard line in the sand here. On one side, you have human-like comprehension. That's our territory, that's you and me. We understand nuance and context, we have empathy, we truly know things based on our lived experiences. But over on the other side, we have the actual reality of this tech, a pattern recognition engine. Generative AI is firmly planted in this second camp. It's an engine designed to synthesize media based on its prior training. Literally, an engine, not an intellect. And internalizing that distinction is just absolutely crucial. Because once you realize you're dealing with a highly sophisticated machine rather than some all-knowing oracle, you can actually start using it for what it truly is. Which brings us to our next area, the generative AI toolbox and its practical applications. Because this engine is so incredibly good at predicting those patterns, we can actually package it up into highly specialized everyday digital tools.
Let's break down this whole ecosystem. Fundamentally, our sources view AI as this incredibly versatile toolbox meant to help you out with specific digital tasks. First, you've got your chatbots. Think Gemini or ChatGPT. These are your conversation assistants. They're using those exact processing mechanics we just talked about to hold an interactive dialogue, basically anticipating the natural back and forth flow of a conversation. Then you've got research tools, like Perplexity. Think of these as search engines but supercharged with citations. The tech here is totally optimized to crawl, find, and summarize information from across the web, handing you directly cited answers. And finally, organization apps. These are your smart planners, things like Notion, which streamline your whole workflow by automatically categorizing and structuring your notes. But here's the kicker. Whether you're brainstorming, deep in research, or just planning out your week, you are utilizing the exact same predictive engine. They're just different interfaces pulling from the exact same toolbox.
Now for our final piece of the puzzle, the human element, engine versus brain. It's time to shift to the core takeaway of this whole explainer. Because despite these genuinely impressive outputs we get from the software, we really need to keep our perspective on what this tech is built to do, and honestly, what it is not built to do.
Here is the ultimate reality check straight from the source material. These applications are, quote, supplemental aids rather than substitutes for human intellect, end quote. I absolutely love that phrasing. This tech is a tool. It's not a substitute for a teacher, and there is absolutely no way it is a substitute for your own mind. When you fire up these apps, you are the pilot in command.
You are the one with the human-like comprehension. The AI is simply the engine doing the heavy computational lifting to help you out. It's a fantastic aid to help you brainstorm a little faster, stay organized, or synthesize your research in record time. But the actual intellect, that creative spark, the true understanding of what it all means, that has to come from you, always.
So there we go. We've officially broken down the illusion. We've seen that there's no actual magic going on behind the curtain, just massive amounts of data, structural recognition, and lightning-fast calculations. It really is just a highly versatile, incredibly useful toolbox. But, a toolbox is basically completely useless if there isn't somebody there to pick up the tools and get to work. Which leaves us with one final, pretty exciting question for you to chew on as we wrap up today's explainer. If AI is simply a toolbox predicting patterns, how will you use it to build your next big idea?